The soft January at the box office continues, and Sonic 3, well, it's not at the top of the charts, and that's totally fine, right? Even though falling out of the top three, but who knows, man? Maybe over the next weekend it ends up, retaking and re-entering that, because I don't really think, word of mouth around Wolfman isn't really that strong, and I'm kind of thinking that, its hopes of, repeating, being a part of the 8-digit club, I don't really think that they're terribly strong, and one of them days, never actually heard of that before, but you take a look at, Den of Thieves, Pantera, that one last weekend has already fallen below Sonic 3. It's very interesting. It's very interesting how things have gone, because you got Mufasa, the Lion King, still right up there at the top, right? Okay, and then he also had Moana 2 just crack $1 billion, so I guess that's Disney's third $1 billion hit of 2024. It depends on how that works. I do a bunch of math on that, but hey, I guess good for them. I hear that that's a slot movie, but then at the same time, at least if you're not overtly inoffensive, like if you're just simply feministic offensive, okay, where you just girl bossing, that's totally fine in today's day and age. But if you're pushing too much of the agenda, that's what ends up running afoul of parents. Which is probably why Mufasa just continues to, kind of limp along. But you take a look at that total gross number and the fact that Sonic 3 is still beating it, I find that to be very, very funny. But you take a look at the numbers that are right there, and yeah, it has absolutely cruised past the $422 million, okay? Blew past Sonic 2, and if it stays in the theaters longer, because, the next big thing to come out, Captain Black Falcon America Man, I mean, that's going to demand the theaters, and that's just going to end up, and you can't keep a movie in there forever, so eventually you're going to have to move on to something. And at this point in time, getting additional legs, pun somewhat attendant, by having a digital release, I mean, that's fantastic stuff. Go out there, get your home movie releases, your home media, okay, for the people that still buy Blu-rays high in 4Ks, hello, that's me. Go ahead, sell your 3-pack. I'd be likely to pick it up. That's for true. And then just to start, marshal your efforts looking forward to the future. Because if you recall, at the beginning of all of this, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 was greenlit, meaning that, the people behind this have a story to tell, or they're just going to have to figure out a story to tell. But in regards to Sonic, I mean, there's still a bunch of stuff that you can do, and you just started to bring in some of the more tertiary characters, like Edgy the Hedgie. If you want to tell some interesting stories, okay, I want a spin-off, I want a fishing show with Big the Cat. You do that, and I'm all in. But Paramount Pictures has set its sights on expanding the adventures of everyone's favorite supersonic hero. And the studio has confirmed ahead of the weekend release of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 that Sonic 4 is on track for a debut in spring of 2027. Interesting. Okay, so it's actually not that far away, and because of the release schedules on this, I mean, 2 years time between releases, because the first one came out, I guess it would have been at the tail end of 19, but it ended up coming out of 20 because of, the fan reaction going, yo, your original concept for the Sonic was looking mighty rough. We've been over this time and time again. They listen to the fans rewarded their good faith with $1 billion franchise. Fantastic stuff. And as a lifelong Sonic fan, I'm super happy to see the success for this long beleaguered franchise, because there were the dark days, bro. Mid to late 2000s, that was a rough time. 7th generation was not kind to the blue blur. The decision arrives, yes, a pivotal moment. Sonic 3 is gearing up for a theatrical launch. Yes, we know projections indicating a most robust domestic opening of approximately $55 to $60 million, and you could see it very much came in on the top end of stuff, $60 million on its opening weekend. And just the continued success of this film, okay? And then still just getting international numbers playing catch up on this. It's the super successful film. And when you pay attention to what Mufasa's out here doing, more markets, a longer time in those markets, because it had an additional 2 weeks of international play, where Sonic just first launched on Christmas Day. So I guess that would have been an additional week, right? Anyways, don't want to over exaggerate, kind of like what Disney likes to do. Number one movie in the world, right? When you're only released in North America, where your biggest competition is still beating you, and it's very likely that it's going to probably end up falling short of Sonic when it's all said and done. You'll love to see it. And I don't think, at least I haven't seen so far, that there isn't going to be, what would they do now, okay? Would they tell that interim story when Mufasa was ruling and then Simba's born? Would they retell that part of the story? Or would they just move on to a live action Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Is that what they would end up doing? I don't want any of it, but it's funny how we haven't heard, outside of Moana getting a live action remake, haven't heard any new announcements. Disney in regards to the live action remake side of things. It's kind of like they're winding down production on that. But as we can see, you know, with green lighting of Sonic the Hedgehog 4, while one diminishes and fades into the west, the other goes full steam ahead. And in fact, it ends up rejuvenating somebody who thought that they were going to be done in the industry. And that's a good thing, because as much as he's a total nutcase, Jim Carrey is a hell of a talent. Okay, when it comes to traditional funny men in the industry, how many people from, you know, like the golden era of Hollywood comedies, I would say probably what? Like there's some fantastic stuff from the 70s and stuff, but early to mid 90s, okay, like Mike Myers. There's always those rumors of a, you know, fourth Austin Powers that are out there. I'll believe it when I see it at this point, but, you know, Chris Farley, rest his soul, not around anymore. David Spade, I don't remember the last comedy that he did. Wasn't like Grown Ups with Adam Sandler? Adam Sandler, you know, he just continues to trudge along. I think Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out this year, and I want to die thinking about that. It could be good, but yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath. But only Jim Carrey's still out there, still doing it at a high level. Like, oh my God, Dumb and Dumber. Like, it goes without saying. Fantastic stuff. And even some of his later comedies, after everything was all done and dusted in the wake of, you know, Judd Apatow killing comedy with a 40-year-old virgin, Knocked Up, Superbad, all of that crap. That's what I would point to killing comedy, specifically the ironic pot smoker stuff. It's just that right there. That was the moment. That's even when I thought to myself, watching 40-year-old virgin, it's like, oh, right, comedy's dead now. We're not going to see it anymore. And lo and behold, yeah, we're at a point in time where everybody's just wondering, can we finally have a renaissance? Can we go back to the Wayne's World, Tommy Boy, you know, Billy Madison type stuff? Can we go ahead and do that? What's Chris Tucker doing? We know that his schedule is not exactly booked up. Can we get him in there to do some funny voices? But Jim Carrey probably kept things going the longest that I could think of. Like, I like The Yes Man. Nobody, does anybody remember The Yes Man? That came out in 2008. I really liked that movie. I thought it was funny. I thought it was quite good. But Jim Carrey is Dr. Robotnik. It's like, it's really good casting. And the fact that it's rejuvenated a spirit that he thought was long since gone, okay, retiring in 2022 only to continue to just work his magic. You'll love to see it. So Sonic the Hedgehog 4 rather, gets great news that Jim Carrey open to returning as Dr. Eggman despite the 2022 retirement. And you're thinking, it's 2025, the movie's still in the theaters. It just, how does that work? Jim Carrey's revealed he's open to returning as Doctor Ivo Robotnik in Sonic the Hedgehog 4, despite announcing his retirement from acting in 2022. Speculation swirled after his announcement, but despite supposedly calling it a career, Carrey returned to the screen as everyone's favorite literal mustache-twirling villain, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Yeah, that's a bad villain because it's totally unbelievable. He lost his daughter and he wants to blow up the earth. Like, why would he do? And then he looked at the camera and said, "Hey, I'm playing the same character twice. Who am I?" Oh, boring. Conservative simpleton from the Daily Wire. Last month to rave audience reviews. It clearly loves the character, and the fans clearly love seeing him as Robotnik, as evidenced by the film's 96% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And that isn't one of those like, how did it get that? Nobody's talking about that. No, everybody who talks about Sonic 3 has seen it at least. Okay, the mildest praise that you get from this, it's like it's very good. It's just a fun film. Okay. Like that's the lightest praise that you get outside of just people saying that it's, you know, like a fantastic adaptation and a fantastic film all by itself. Like there's nobody talking bad about this film. Of course, once the credits had finished rolling, fans had one question in their minds: is Jim Carrey coming back for 4? In a recent interview, Carrey said that he's open to reprising his role as Dr. Eggman. He was Dr. Robotnik growing up. Okay, I don't like any of this. I don't like any of this ex post facto revisionist history Eggman stuff in future Sonic movies. Okay. He jokingly noted that instead of retiring, he plans to power rest. Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely open. I'm open to the idea, and generally, they come to me with the next idea, and if I go, that sounds fun, then I'll do it. And if I don't feel locked to anything in life, unless it's something that interests me, I certainly love this crew. I love the gang that makes these movies, and I love the fans. There's a lot of really great energy around it, great responses, and the fans jumping in and saying, "How about if you do this?" They've been super helpful. I think we're all making this movie together. As much of a spaz as he's been in recent years, that's a fantastic response to things. Okay, and just seeing it's like legit. legitimately, okay, everybody who's involved with these movies have nothing but great things to say about everything involving these movies, and that's why I love talking about it. Because nobody has a bad thing to say about anything. They aren't attacking the fans because, oh, Mufasa's at the box office. What do you guys hate our film? Oh, there's just a bunch of incels that like our movies. No, it's nothing like that. You know how touchy the Sonic fandom can be from time to time, but you're paying homage and you're paying respect to them, and they are rewarding you in kind. Jim Carrey is one of the many reasons the Sonic films have done so well. Listening to fans, respecting the source material, and providing well-written stories void of diverse identity politics has also contributed to the franchise's success. Yeah, exactly. Sonic 3 has been a wild success. The entire franchise so far, from the moment that they took the criticism from the fans, was the moment that they knew, and everybody else knew that, hey, you know, there might be something to this. And the fact that they're good films backing this stuff up is amazing. So yeah, if it also continues the great career of Jim Carrey, I'd also consider that to be another Sonic miracle. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.